Back to another episode of the AAU Overtime Podcast. Jordan DeLuciano here as always, and joining me now, he's been in the news cycle all of last week and now weeks to come, the goaltender for not just AAU Quinnipiac University, but now NCAA Quinnipiac University, Ryan Solomon. Ryan, congratulations on a great week and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem. Yeah, you got a great story to tell a bunch of people and tell everyone else that would like to listen. Before we get into that, let's get more into you, Ryan. Talk me through your hockey beginnings. Anybody in your family growing up play hockey? What got you in the pads to start this career in between the pipes?
Yeah, so I'm actually the first person in my family to ever play hockey. My five older siblings, I'm the youngest of six kids, and they all went to Quinnipiac. So as a kid, I would always, be here on the weekends, watching the team play. And then, when I was a kid, I wanted to play every sport in the world. So my parents never really know what to take seriously. And then, once I started coming to Quinnipiac games, it got me hooked, and I started making like my own, do it yourself setups at home, strapping cardboard pads on, street hockey helmet. So once they saw me doing that, they knew it was real, and just took off from there.
Did any of you said all your other siblings went to Quinnipiac, correct?
Yes.
Did they play any sports there, or were you the first to venture into athletics?
No, I was the first. So it was like kind of uncharted territory. So they've all been following the ride, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. Then it's great actually that you followed your siblings' footsteps. Everyone goes to Quinnipiac, but no siblings played athletics. Did your parents, any cousins, nothing to do with hockey, anything to do with athletics? That you just came out of nowhere?
No, my dad was a big time wrestler at Western New England when he was in college. So I get a lot of my athletic inspiration from him. My siblings all played sports, throughout, middle school, high school. But as far as the college level goes, just me and my dad. So it's been a pretty wild ride so far.
So then you said you were going to Quinnipiac, watching a bunch of sporting events. What drew you specifically to hockey? Because I guess you go to Quinnipiac, that's their marquee sport, right? Is hockey.
Yeah. No, you said it. So it's like going to the games, they have the beautiful rink up here. So just coming on the weekends, I think I went to my first, Quinnipiac Yale game as a kid. And then I realized, that got me hooked right away. It's like you can't walk into an atmosphere like that and not be attached to it. So I think just seeing, how much people cared about it up here at this school, it really draws you in, and it's hard to stay away from it.
So from day one, when you started playing hockey, you had your eyes set on one day going to Quinnipiac and playing ice hockey there?
Yeah, I did. Just growing up, that was the dream. But I've said it in previous podcasts where it's like, you're going through the process, and then, you start to get older, and then, you start to get more realistic about things. And then, you're like, okay, like this isn't going to happen. So that's why when I got the original message about all this happening, you kind of have to pinch yourself, because, this was your dream when you were a kid. And then now you like a few years down the road, you're living it out.
So now let's get to when that moment starts to marinate. Did you get any indication that like something could be in the works, that an opportunity might open up? What was the opportunity for those that are listening that aren't aware how you got into this situation, being called up to the NCAA team? Was there anything that you saw, okay, there might be an opportunity here because of this? And what was it that led to you getting this call up?
Yeah, the actual reason is quite unfortunate. Noah Altman, a goalie on the team, suffered a hand injury that, set him out long term. So it's obviously not the best circumstances, and obviously I wish him a speedy recovery. I hope he's back, as soon as possible. But I got that message from an administrator at the school and said, I'm putting you in contact with Coach Rand Pecknold, and they said they might be in need of a new goalie. So I was here in my dorm room, and I remember asking my roommates, like, are you pulling a prank on me, or like what's going on here? So yeah, I was just making sure, just because it's like when you get that text, it's very tough to believe that that would even be possible. So I was just asking my roommate CJ. I was like, you're not pulling a prank on me, or doing anything like that, right? I was like, that'd be pretty messed up. But
yeah, that'd be a tough one. Yeah.
yeah, that would not be a good prank. I would be pretty upset about that. But yeah, I just going through the process with him. I met with him, I believe on that Monday, and then I started skating with him on Tuesday. So, yeah, I can't even believe it to this day. But just trying to keep my feet beneath me and just enjoy the ride.
So that what was that process like? So after you get in contact with head coach Pecknold, what is like the paperwork or it's something making that transition? Because it must have been a hectic, what, 24, 42 hours?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of paperwork, that's for sure. Luckily, I had like I had all my forms updated from playing at the AAU level, so that stuff wasn't too taxing. But you have to go to like the eligibility center and get all registered, and go on the website, and then I had to fill out I don't even know like 12 forms just to make sure I signed everything away, and I was all set. So that was probably the my least favorite part about the process was just getting set up because it's like you want to get cleared as soon as possible. You don't want anything holding you back. So just I was going through those forms, just like clicking everything. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just ready to get going.
It's like when you're whatever you may be doing, you have the agree to terms and conditionings, and you have that whole
Yeah.
paragraph ready. You just scroll through the paragraph, click off the checkbox, and you
Yep.
move on with your day. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
So when you're going through this process, you get contacted by Coach Pecknold. Who was the first person you reached out to say like, "Hey, so this is what's going on in my life right now"? Was it one? Was it multiple people? And what was their reaction to the news?
Yeah, I would say my roommates were the first to know just because I was with them when I found out. So it's like, when I originally asked them what happened, they couldn't believe it. But my first phone call was to my mom and dad, and I don't even know if I could repeat the words that were exchanged on that phone call, but just like a ton of disbelief. And I remember that phone call vividly, but those are something that you want to keep behind closed doors. But yeah, I remember them being very excited for me, and then news starts to trickle to family and friends, and then before you know it, everyone knows about it. So, but yeah, I would say my parents were the first people to know that I contacted.
So there was that viral video of Coach Pecknold announcing that you got the call with a bunch of the AAU guys around you. Did you know before that announcement in front of everyone that he was going to make that announcement? Or was that just you found out when he told you in front of your whole teammate? And how did your AAU group react to that news?
So that was in front of the Division 1 team. So we were
Oh, that
working
was
out
the
with.
D1 team. My
Yeah.
apologies.
So, well, I'll tell the other side of that story. I knew I had to leave the AAU team, so I got to practice early one day, and I could have sent them a text message, but I wanted to let them know face to face. That was important for me. So I communicated the news to them, and they're very supportive. Everyone understands the decision. So same way that I would be if it was one of my teammates that got the call. So my whole club team was behind me, and they gave me all the support in the world, and they've been checking in with me every day. As far as that video goes, yeah, it was that was the morning of the Yale game, and so we were going through our pregame morning workout, just getting the legs moving, but Coach Pecknold called everyone around, and I had no idea what to expect. Obviously you hear whispers and like the games on the calendar coming up, and the Yale game's a big one. But going into the rink that day, I had no idea that was the news I was going to get told. I actually texted my parents that morning before I went to the rink. I was like, "Hey guys, I haven't heard anything. Like, I don't think it's happening tonight. Not a big deal. Like, whatever." But when I got told that news, and just to see the guys' reactions, and the fact that was recorded on film is pretty great. And I've watched that video too many times, but I'll probably watch it a few more in the next couple of weeks.
That's a video you and your parents, your family. That's one that you'll never stop watching. As life goes on. What was the emotional feeling? Maybe the emotional weight before you even get to the Quinnipiac Yale game. Just the emotional feeling and the weight going into your first practices. Lacing up and going taking the ice with no like not even up for debate. Right now, I think they're number one ranked team in the country, if not two, and the defending champions.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. But then you can look at it through the lens that there's a lot of pressure, and then the original conversation I had with Coach Peckland was I was going to be on a 14-day tryout, and I remember saying to my parents and my friends here that like I don't really feel the pressure because it's like what do I lose if after 14 days they cut me? I have my spot back at AAU. It's like I didn't lose anything other than get to skate with these guys for 2 weeks. So I think that helped me a lot mentally, just going into the practices and games, and no, not so much the games, but going into the practices of just being like having the mindset that you're kind of playing with house money, and the fact that you even get to be out here skating with these guys is an honor and a privilege. So, no real pressure because it's like I said, you really have nothing to lose. So just going out there and it makes it easier on yourself mentally. Going into these skates that you don't really have much to lose, and you just go out there and worry about stopping the puck.
Obviously, there's going to be differences, going. No disrespect to AAU Division One, which Quinnipiac you came from, but there's going to be skill differences from AAU D1 to NCAA D1. Goes without saying. But what is the one difference you noticed in practice wise? Maybe it's pace of play, practice structure, speed, shot that you had to quickly and just say, oh, okay, now this is D1 hockey.
Yeah, the shot speeds are a little bit quicker. That's what I'll say. You got these guys who have been heavily recruited, and they're playing Division One hockey for a reason. So you just kind of temper your expectations going into those practices, and you have to accept the fact that you are going to get scored on. But it's just about having a short-term memory and just being focused on the next puck that comes your way. But these guys are all on the same page. They've been playing together for a while. They're skating every day. So just to see the way they talk about the game on and off the ice, and the commitment to their systems and their identity, it's a whole new level. And just to see the continuity and chemistry that they have in that room is really something special to be a part of.
And now you go to not only playing for NCAA D1, what has now been the NCAA D1 ice hockey lifestyle these past few weeks?
It's been a little bit different. You go from skating a couple times a week to every day, and I'm making sure I'm taking care of my body, and stretching, and making sure that I'm eating good, and staying on top of all my stuff. But yeah, just I would say more of a regimented lifestyle, more structure. Everyone's home on Thanksgiving break right now, and I'm here just skating with the team. So it is a little bit different, but it's something that I've embraced, and something that I'm enjoying. And I know I'm not going to be here forever. So just in this next month or so, whatever it is, just trying to make the most out of the opportunity.
And now you mentioned right at the beginning, we talked about something that sparked your interest. You loved watching as a kid was those Yale Quinnipiac games. How fitting! First game you dressed right was Yale Quinnipiac. So what was that experience before you put the jersey on? Get any advice coming into that game? Did you talk to anyone beforehand? You have anybody in the crowd?
Yeah, I had a lot of friends and family in the crowd. I was very lucky that a lot of them were able to make it out. I was talking to my dad before the game, and he just told me to really remember that moment when you put the jersey on, and what that jersey means. And as a kid, like I've mentioned to you, that jersey means everything to me. So like I said in the press conference after the game, that it was you just sit in the stall, and you really sit there with it in your hands for a couple minutes, and before you put it on, you just take a couple deep breaths and realize the magnitude of it. But yeah, just that was a very special night for me, and to have so many friends and family in the crowd, that meant a lot to me.
Any differences that stuck out to you watching a D1 game from the crowd in your seat comfortably, and now watching it from like the bench area? You're on ice level now.
Yeah, I had a pretty good view for it. So it was a little bit better than sitting in the stands, I must say. But just to be on the bench, hearing the game plan go down, and just keeping your mind right, and being active on that door, making sure no delay of games, because if there are, that's on me. So just staying locked into the game, and just being there and being a part of it was really cool. But yeah, just the way they move the puck at this level, the chemistry that they have, and a lot of it's unspoken. It's like these guys are so good, and they've practiced together for so long, where it's like they don't even have to have the conversations. They know what each other are doing on the ice, and just to see that happen in real time is pretty incredible.
It's the skill gap's one thing, but like you said, everyone knows their role, everyone knows what everyone's doing, and it's just expected at that point. And it just shows there's a big gap in talent. I was having a conversation a while ago, two other kids that played D1 club hockey, and they were saying like they see guys like us play, and they let's say someone casually doesn't watch hockey enough. They watch guys like me and you play. Like, wow, those guys are pretty good hockey players. Ryan, pretty good goaltender. Then you see those guys at NCAA D1, and it's just a different animal. And how did the guys in the locker room, any of the goalies, come to you to help you out with that process, and just like try to be more of a make a more like human, genuine level to it, and not see it as like, okay, this guy's now making the huge jump to a different level?
Yeah, Noah Altman, the guy I'm actually replacing, he's been incredible to me. He's just a stand-up guy, and right from the minute I came in, he saw me walking into the locker room with my bag and stuff on day one, and he guided me right to the locker room. That entire goalie room of Noah Altman, Vinny Duplessis and Matej Marinov, they've welcomed me right in, and they've made me feel right at home. So just helping me adjust to that process. They don't treat me like I'm a stranger. They treat me like I'm one of them, and I don't have any concerns going to talk to them about anything. And they've made this whole transition very smooth for me. And when I walk into that locker room, I feel comfortable, and that's something I never would have thought. It's a little intimidating at first, but these guys have welcomed me right in. I can't say enough about them.
Anything have you learned from the goalie room, whether it be on the ice, how they perform, or maybe off the ice and how they prepare?
Yeah, they just they're very calm, which I think is a big thing. Being a goalie, people might view you as the oddball, but I think there is something to be said about a goalie who just has a calming presence in the locker room, and I think all three of those guys have that. So it's just really to watch them, and then on the ice, it really is a treat just to watch these guys practice and play. They're so talented, and when I'm not in the net taking shots, I like watching them just because they are playing at a different level. The way they skate, the way they track the puck, and their instincts. They have it all. So it's just like getting to watch those athletes on a regular basis is pretty special.
Now, with the NCAA D1 team, are you with them now to the end of the semester? How long does your tenure now last with the group?
I'll be there till the end of the semester. So
gotcha. And then
yeah.
you go back with the AAU group?
Yes.
Gotcha. You still keeping tabs with the AAU group, keeping an eye on them?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gone to one of their games. They're actually the only game that they've had since, and made it out to a pasta party. So I'm never gonna switch up and leave them behind. So I try to make sure I show my face there every day, and be a part of that as well.
So going forward for the rest of the semester, will you be dressing in every game, a bulk of the games, some games? Do you know how that's going to work out?
Yeah, so I don't travel with the team. So they go travel to play BU on Wednesday. I don't think I'll be there for that, but as far as the rest of the home games go for the semester, obviously you have to see, but that's the way it's been for the past couple games. I think it's the three now that I've dressed for. So I think we may have one more coming up in December. So that will be pretty cool to be a part of as well.
And were you keeping tabs last year? They won the championship. You've been a Quinnipiac fan your whole life. What was it like watching Quinnipiac, epic fashion, might I say, immediately into overtime, knocking off Minnesota?
Yeah, me and my good friend Adam Campersall were down there in Tampa for it. So we were down there, and just the atmosphere in Tampa was pretty incredible, and just to see that happen so quickly in overtime. If you blink, you missed it, and that was pretty surreal. And as someone who watched since I was a kid, and coming up short twice in the national championship game, you get a little nerves and a little nervous about going into another championship game, especially overtime against a team like Minnesota. They're extremely talented, but I'm very happy they pulled that off, and I know the campus here was too as well.
Adam Campersall is one of the first, if not, and maybe not the first, but one of the first people I've ever had on the podcast. Maybe been the first player I had 2 years ago when I started this thing up. And quickly back with the AAU group, new coaching staff that switched up halfway through last year. How's it been with that transition with a new voices behind the bench?
Yeah, I would say it's gone pretty smooth. Ben Thompson and Dave Brennan, these guys are two of the best in the business in my imagination. So, we have full confidence in them, and we trust them, and, they got us to compete, and, they set us going and give us the motivation we need to perform on a daily basis. So, they have the locker room, and, they have their voice in the room that we all listen to. And, we have no doubts about the decisions they make. So we trust them all the way. And, and that's never going to change.
And to wrap it up here, how do you plan on, what do you think rest of the semester, how do you feel about the rest of the semester? How is it going to go finishing up at NCAA D1?
Yeah, just try to make the most out of every day, attack each day. It would be a mistake in my eyes if I went to the rink and gave anything less than 100% every day. So just making the most out of every day, every opportunity I get. This isn't lost on me why I'm here. So I just try to go out there every day and make the most out of the opportunity I'm given. Like I said, I'm very, very grateful to Coach Pecknold for the opportunity and all my family and friends that have helped me get to this point, my teammates and coaches. I really have too many people to thank. We could be on here for however much longer if I needed to be. But just thank you to all of them. And, like I said, just try to make the most out of every day and just improve as a player and, enjoy the ride.
Did they give you the rookie lap when you your first game you dressed?
I did not get the rookie lap. I did not get
wow.
No. But my main concern was not falling when I stepped on the ice for the first time. So
yeah, make sure there's no tape underneath your skates. That happened to me once. Championship game, very embarrassing. Walking out there,
would not want that to happen. So I'm glad it didn't.
I think they'll get you you said you have another home game coming up before the end of the semester, so they might get you on that rookie lap. Just make sure you don't go down. Just make sure.
I know.
Yeah,
my eyes will be peeled.
Yeah. Ryan Solomon, goaltender for University of Quinnipiac's AAU. And now to the end of the semester, the big call-up to the NCAA Division I team, the reigning NCAA Division I national champions. Ryan, again, congratulations on the honor, something you'll never forget, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that.
Once again, alongside Ryan Solomon, joining the AAU Overtime Podcast, my name is Jordan DeLuciano. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you all Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard.